Hello, everyone. No Life here. And since it's been about a week since the last update has came out for the game on July 16th, it's time for me to go ahead and give you guys my verdict on what my experience was with this update. So first and foremost, I actually had a pretty busy week last week, so I didn't get to play the game as much as I wanted to. Also, didn't help that other games have all these trials and whatnot going on, so I was playing that. But regardless, I still believe I got enough experience with this update to be able to give you guys my verdict on it. So I guess we'll go straight down the list here, and I give you guys my thoughts on everything. So, geesh, I dare I say the elephant in the room here is going to be victim endurance. Now that victim endurance has finally been fixed, a lot of fan members have been complaining about it as they are getting choose flight flashbacks on how annoying it can be to chase down a victim when they can run as long as they can here. So, from my experience on playing with endurance, it definitely feels really nice. I even have a nice little comparison here where this first clip of Ana is with around 30-ish endurance, maybe a little less, and you can just see here how it's just dragging on along. I even made a comment on a video here on just how bad it felt going from like 50 to 30 there, and then the clip ahead here we have Ana with 50 endurance, and again I might even made a comment in this video, but I was able to sprint from the front of the house all the way down to the bar, which again is a pretty good show of endurance. As you know, again, jumping from the window and then going that far away, you being able to sprint that long, especially if the family member doesn't have scout, they're probably going to run out of standard before you do, getting all the way down there. And even if you do run out of standard, as you've seen there, I grappled Cook. I went over to open a crawl space. By the time I got through it, I pretty much had all my stamina back. If it weren't for the fact that Sissy was already out there chasing another victim, I would have been able to just sit here and bully Cook back there. He can't gap, and there's the barricade. I mean, quite frankly, I don't know why Cook even bothered going outside when Sissy was already there, but 50 endurance is definitely very strong. I even have another clip here that where I had around 45 endurance, and although it didn't regenerate quite as fast, it still regenerated fast enough again to get the job done. So you can even probably argue 50 endurance is overkill. I even had a game I posted last week before I even gave my update or whatever. It was with Leland, and I had jumpstart on that one, which makes it even worse. And I even commented in that video that I used that same build for like 5 games. Again, 50 endurance, and that was the first game that I ironically finally ran out of stamina. And all the other games I used 50 endurance, I had condition on, which, if you guys don't know, lets you regenerate your stamina even quicker when you run out. So, again, 50 endurance is very powerful. It's honestly kind of a give and a take here. The give being that this gives another stat for victims to put their points into other than toughness and proficiency, the ones that kind of force the family to put high savagery and all these damage perks like Serrato on to deal with tanky victims. And then, of course, the tank is endurance is arguably worse because it doesn't matter how squishy they are if you can never catch them because they have such high stamina pools. But regardless, here we're going into what I really feel is the elephant in the room, and that's going to be the proficiency stat with car battery. So they made a mistake of quote unquote fixing the proficiency with the car battery. So now it works more like the way strength does with gens, meaning that 50 proficiency allows you to turn off the gen in about 8 seconds, much like you can with kicking off the generator. This has led to some serious power creep with victims, as now that Grandpa's been nerfed, which I'll get into later. And combined with high endurance and now proficiency, victims are able to go ahead and just turn the gen off in 8 seconds. And what else can you do within 8 seconds? That's stun a family member. You can stun a family member for about 10 seconds, then go ahead and turn that battery off. Or shoot, even worse, you can hit them with a backstab. again, and it just leads to one of those issues where one person can't even stop someone at objectives, as all they do is just grapple them and then get out, especially if they open the gate before they got there. So this is definitely requires some balancing. Either they need to roll back this update, or again they need to nerf choose fight. Hell, maybe they might even need to make it so you can't turn up. Sorry, you can't unlock the final gate until you turn off the objective, the generator batteries. Again, the family's pick rate's been pretty bad. It always has been, but I could definitely say I feel it a little bit more about victim queues. There's been a lot more 3 minute plus queues going on here where a lot of times it takes almost 5 minutes the full queue time to even get into a lobby just for a family member to be gone already when you get there or leave or whatever nonsense they do because no one cares about the penalties. They're still dodging, so that hasn't solved anything. They still need to, again, address the backfill issues. So we don't need a penalty in the first place. But before they even do that, again, they need to put the family in a better place. They honestly don't really need to fix the backfill issue. They just need to make family more enjoyable to play. That's always been an issue with the game, as there's been plenty of times where when there's been incentives to play family members, the queues have been just fine. As soon as no one feels like playing family mode, you go right back to square one with it feeling like crap and the queues being bad as a result. So again, they just need to tone down the numbers, just do something balance wise to curb the issues we're having here with people not wanting to play family member. So next up, a bit more minor here, we have the thunder effects on Nancy's house. Those have been missing. They have now fixed them, and they're just as loud as they were when they increased the volume all those months ago. So here's a clip of that without me talking over so you can properly hear it.
I gotta stay away.
So next up here, we have the basement lighting. They have finally fixed this after, again, what feels like months of it being broken. So this also includes, of course, the doors and the fuse box. Except both of those are well lit, as you can see here in the little clip I have here. They fixed Slippery not appearing in Sissy's tree. Now the problem with this is, yes, although it works, you can equip it and all that, as I'm showing here now. Perk's not that good, honestly. Half the problem with it is, well, half the perks in the game that have some sort of activation clause activate too soon, and as a result, the second you hit a gap, the perk activates, which means by the time you're done with the gap, you have maybe 3 to 4 seconds of the speed from it, so it's not that impactful. Strangely, going through crawl spaces makes the perk activate properly, so you'll have, let's say, Sissy going through the crawl space, and then it activates, so you have the full time on it. But honestly, and it's funny, I was playing with someone the other day, and they gave the same response I'm going to say now. The perk just doesn't really give you enough value to warrant you using it. It's just when you ask yourself, did Slippery help me get that kill? And 9 times out of the 10, the answer is going to be no. I mean, you don't feel like Slippery is giving you enough value for you to really run it. Like I have it on like one build that I'll maybe use whenever I'm done upgrading it, but after I'm done upgrading the perks, I'm like level 2 with it, not 3 yet. But I'm honestly gonna probably not use this perk anymore. Now it's on the sim side. It's like rubber legs and spore loser. Some of my favorite perks to run on Sissy, but again, I just don't feel like it's helping me in any way that makes me want to again put it on a dedicated build. So next up, we have a change that I'm very excited to see, and that's Maria's eyes. They finally fixed the texture issues on Maria's eyes by making them all white and zombie-ish. And it's funny, as soon as I loaded up and checked that out, because that was like the first thing I checked out, I immediately seen what probably caused the issues with it. And I think that someone in the team noticed that Maria's eyes were inappropriately brown when they're supposed to be hazel. So they went back to fix that. And as a result, just like they did with Leatherface and the whole door stun issue, where the door first it didn't stun him, then it was stun him from too short of a time in a lot of people's opinions. It's like a work in progress stuff that leaked into the build. So they first and foremost they really need to get a lid on that. They need to stop putting in stuff that they're working on in the games. This leads to not only leaks but also bugs and issues like that. So if you actually look at the pictures of Maria here, you notice that her eyes are darker color in the pictures than it is in the model. So again, that's because now they're hazel instead of brown. They look great. Maria definitely looks much prettier with hazel eyes. But moving on here, we have the disconnected nodes, Danny's tree, and Julie's level 10. I haven't respect Danny yet. I rightfully so. I haven't really used Danny since Hands came out, so I've yet to finish leveling up the perks on the side I'm on to go over to that right side and see if they really did fix it. But I'll take their word on it. I feel like they haven't messed it up this time around. We also have Julie's level 10. They indeed did fix that. I have a little clip here even showing that off. And also a little disclaimer. I don't know if I mentioned this last time. There actually isn't any issue with Johnny not being able to get to level 10. Apparently, I'm blind. I missed literally one skill tree point. And I actually sent a dev report ticket to it. They emailed me back. So there's the good news that they indeed do still email me back. The bad news is all the bug posts I put in, they still didn't give any kind of confirmation that they received and are looking into it. So I hope that they're looking at a lot of stuff I put in. A lot of stuff I put in is stuff I personally would like to see fixed, obviously, and hopefully it's stuff that you guys like to see fixed too, such as let's say the shrimp attribute. It doesn't do half the stuff it does. It's like, for example, go open and crawl spaces. Shrimp is supposed to, I'm guessing, let you open those in less button taps. It does not do that. I even thought at one point maybe spamming it with extra shrimp made you like be able to spam it faster again. I haven't seen anything on that, so. In conclusion, here before I go off on a tangent, I really hope that they do some buffs, or rather than shoot in this case, nurse the victims are buffed to the family, but just something to make family feel a little less pressured on objectives and whatnot. Gives the victims a bit of a harder time to do objectives. So again, the family can breathe easier. They won't dodge all the time. And maybe as a kind of a caveat to that, they'll look into buffing stealth because now that they've buffed endurance back up, or rather fixed endurance, you just look at it. Toughness, how hard people hit, honestly, toughness is overrated. The real benefit to toughness, in my opinion, is just how fast you get up from being in cap. That's more impactful than you being able to tank more hits, in my opinion. Again, endurance just practically gives you infinite stamina, strength, bigger stuns, kick off that gen quick. Proficiency always has been amazing with the being able to pick locks fast, but now there's the battery. And then you have the stealth. It's like, what reason is to run it? It used to be for gathering items quickly and quietly, but that's not even the case anymore. You're better off just running light on your feet and just spamming. At least with light on your feet on, you just don't wake up grandpa no matter what noise you make. It's just everyone else's noise that'll wake him up more than anything. And geez, the scary thing about proficiency is that attribute's not fully fixed either. It's supposed to make you open the fuse box even quicker than it does now. Like, I'm sure you guys noticed from 20 proficiency to 50, there's no difference in opening that fuse box. So I am scared to think of the fact that that could be broken and we're supposed to be opening that fuse box in 1 second flat. I hope it's broken and it's supposed to be 5 seconds with 50 proficiency. Let's say 20, it's supposed to take longer. That would be pretty funny, as that actually be a very good buff to the fuse box for the family's defense. As now, Dumb Honor won't be able to open it in 5 seconds. It'll take it like, let's say 10 or something. Next up, we have Sunny's Drip here, his new cosmetic. I definitely like this cosmetic a lot better in game than I did when I was looking at the whatchamacallit, um, the pictures. It definitely looks amazing in game. My favorite probably is going to be the spearmint here with the little red triangle on it. That looks like the best one to me. And one thing I also noticed from his new cosmetic is, besides the fact there's some issues in the model of it, more specifically around the neck. I don't know if that's a spoiler. Maybe we'll be getting some decapitations in the future, but I don't know. It just looks a little off to me. But that cosmetic, and really just all the new cosmetics, I'm pretty sure Connie's as well, her new cosmetic, those all show up in the sheesh, Leatherface intro cutscene in the beginning here. But I haven't seen Julie in her new cosmetic in the intro, as well as Maria. I haven't seen her getting killed on the gallows in the beginning as well. Everything works for her if you were to incap her, pick her up, and take her to the gallows. I don't think I've ever showed that, so maybe next time I manage to kill her on the gallows, I'll post it or something. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, it's not a big deal that they don't show Julie's new cosmetic or Miria in the intro, but it's just something I thought was a little strange. So I just want to point that out for you guys. So next up, we have the Abandoned Mill Nighttime map variant. This was something that was announced, I believe it was Monday morning, and I was actually kind of surprised. I thought this would have been a map that would have came up for next week's update, but they seem to have activated this during just off the flip of a switch, as this was something that people found out about last week when the update first dropped. When they looked at custom games, they seen that this map was available to play in, so their people got screenshots and all that of it. Now, I personally thought this was just them basically leaking it or whatever, but it turned out that no, this was them just kind of doing a bit of a drip feed release like they did last week, where they added Julie's outfit. Then the week before that, they had Hitchhiker's Claymore outfit. So getting onto it, as per standard, these 19 map variants, there's nothing changed at all with the basement. It's just upstairs that's changed. So it looks very good. I definitely like how atmospheric it looks at night, as I always felt like the mill should have had a nighttime map variant, as it just makes sense for the map, as this is the area where Nancy and her family did a lot of heinous acts during the cover of the night. So, of course, the dusk, it works too. Dusk looks good, but again, I'm just really glad that not only do now all the maps have their second variants for them, but the mill, of course, has this. So this also increases pick rate. This is a map I feel like I don't play on much. Then again, I've been stuck on Nancy's house for what felt like the last 3 weeks, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised that I barely get to play this or any other map, really. Speaking of which, they seem to have activated this map without increasing the chance of getting it, because I've only played on it once, and that was literally before I recorded this video. I finally got some gameplay for it, so I said, you know what? Instead of me sitting here for hours hoping to get it again, I'm just gonna, you know. So I played maybe 4 games before I recorded this video, and one of them was on the mill. But well, I'm sorry, mill at night. The second one was actually on the mill during dusk, but anywho. Now we also have the generator sound effects. They have fixed the generator, so now when the generator is turned off and on, they can be heard. However, one thing I want to note is turning gen back on. It feels a little lower in audio than it used to be. There's a lot of times where they turn the gen back on. I still didn't know. However, of course, you get close enough, you still hear it on. So, I just, again, thought I'd point that out. So here's the sound of it turning on. So you guys can hear loud and clear. Next up, we'll be talking about the way they've changed how Grandpa functions. So as you can see here, they were smart enough to list what level each perk activates, so it makes things a bit less confusing. I can't confirm. I haven't had anyone tell me to take off any of my Grandpa perks during my week of playtime. Have to have some people question what perks I'm bringing in, but no one seems to have dodged based on perks alone, so that is a good thing. Now, I have had some games where I have been able to get Grandpa Max. I have had games where they were able to get Grandpa Max when I was a victim. But overall, I can say that this update on Grandpa went exactly the way everyone feared. So they might need to update that soon. And hopefully this will be as soon as next week, as we have the 13th edition of the Muerto Times here. And first on the list is going to be Grandpa perk tuning. So hopefully we'll see some buffs to certain perks like Experienced Stalker. So it would actually reduce the proximity in a good enough way where you can actually sneak up on victims using it. Grandpa perk levels. Hopefully that is the switching around what when activates. What when activates. You know what I mean. Anywho, such as don't have all day. That could definitely be level 1 or 2. It's not worthy of being level 3. I can tell you right now from experience. Slippery, inconsistent. I just mentioned that earlier. Hopefully that'll be them fixing slippery so it activates after you get through the gap. That'd be lovely. Then we have rough cut, inconsistent, in which a rough cut sometimes activates and sometimes it doesn't activate at all. As you can see here in the clip I'm showing right now, I killed Julie with just damage alone. Rough cut didn't help at all. She took three hits and didn't bleed out, yet the fourth hit was enough to kill her. Rough cut didn't activate, trust me. We have stuck spots. I've sent a bunch of those to them. I still need to send one with ladders, as they still haven't seemed to fix ladders. From what I was told, the issue with ladders is if you're spamming to drop the ladder as the family hits you, it seems to get you stuck. Sometimes you get lucky and you drop out of it. Sometimes you don't at all. So again, that's definitely something they need to look into, as this is not fun at all when you end up getting stuck in the floor and end up getting killed. There's even some times where I've grappled a family member and I've got stuck in the ground. As you can see with this honor here, she was unfortunate to have that happen to her. Although I didn't feel bad at all for it happening. When the game ended, they were kind of talking crap. So you already seeing what kind of honor they would have been based on that interaction. But finally, we have network errors that occurred during the first match played. I have not experienced that, so maybe I have and I didn't realize. But whatever it is, hopefully they can get to the bottom of it and get it fixed. As I said, needs more info, so they are nowhere near close to doing it. So if you know what that is, definitely send them some information so they can get that properly fixed, gang. But again, I think that is going to do it for this video. I thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this has been No Life here, and if you haven't already, get a life.